you doing tonight? I'm feeling okay, more or less. Today's kind of a big day. Today's kind of a big anniversary. Turns out today, 20 years ago, a movie came out. A movie I liked very much. A movie that kind of sort of got intertwixed with my identity online by virtue of my last name. It's right here. It's Fight Club. Yes, this movie's 20 years old, which means this DVD is almost 20 years old. It's kind of wild to think about how I have DVDs on my shelf that are like old enough to drink beer if they were living beings. So yeah, Fight Club. Fight Club was a tremendous motion picture. I did not see it opening weekend. No. The advertising at the time was awful. It was just random shots of dudes fighting and like shirtless Brad Pitt, and it was kind of like, what is this movie about? The commercials didn't want to say, frankly. They're probably too scared to say what it was. Thankfully, good friend of mine, hi Joe, good friend of mine, got in touch with me. He's like, yo, you got to see this movie. So we caught it at the old Second Run theater. We were really big into second run movies at the time, even though it wasn't close to where we lived. We take a longer drive and just see these movies that everyone else already talked about and we missed. But yeah, I think a lot of the movie as a movie holds up very well. I didn't see it today, unfortunately, but I've seen it pretty regularly. It looks fantastic. The performances are great. Obviously, there's some dated effects, whatever, but the integration of all of it, is incredible. I think David Fincher continues to make really good-looking movies. They've always been good-looking, but they continue to be good-looking even today. He was definitely an early proponent of like shooting digital film. So I don't know if this movie was shot on film and then edited digitally, but there's definitely there's a lot of digital stuff in there. But yeah, at the time it was the perfect movie for me to see at the right time, because when it came out, I lived, that guy who they pull out of the convenience store and like, oh, crappy basement apartment with a letter. It's like, I lived in a crappy basement apartment. Okay. In fact, it was so crappy it didn't even have a letter. The next apartment I would have a letter. I had to level up from the nameless, numberless apartment to a lettered apartment. Say lettered? Anyway, it was letter N. So 1999, I mean, I'd only recently moved out of home. I had gone to school and things had not worked out. I had a job, but my job sucked. So I very much identified with the unnamed narrator because he had a job. It definitely paid him enough to do whatever he wanted, but he was miserable, and that's how I felt in my job. And all my friends, I had friends. I guess, unlike him, I actually had friends, but I couldn't help but feel really close to what he was talking about. And the line that still sticks with me all these years later is when he's complaining about himself. He's like, I'm a 30-year-old boy. And at the time, I wasn't even 30, but I really felt like I'm supposed to be an adult, yet I feel like a kid. I feel like I have no idea what I'm doing. I feel like there's nothing happening that I'm in control of. I just feel completely rudderless and pointless, and what the hell's going on? Now, obviously the movie has an extreme approach and things get violent, and what I definitely did not pick up on this in 99, and I don't know if I even picked up on it even 10 or even 5 years ago, when I tend to watch it and talk about it a lot every 5 years or so. The misogyny aspect of it, I don't think I really picked up on it until a couple years back, even though it's pretty implicit. I mean, at one point Tyler was like, maybe another woman is the last thing we need. It's of course the whole movie only really has one woman in the whole movie, two if you count Chloe, I guess, but that part is hard to deal with now, especially since there's such a real violent pushback against women in the world, let alone the internet, just like the entire world. So that part's gross. It's too bad because Marla is really a great character in the movie, and Helena Bonham Carter is great in the movie, but yeah, everyone sort of takes turns hating on Marla and treating Marla like she's crazy, or weird or quirky or whatever, when she's just like, she's compared to most of the men in the movie, she's actually relatively normal, you know? She doesn't want to blow up any buildings. She just wants to, like, make some money and entertain herself and, you know, get fucked every once in a while. But yeah, it's a movie that's always going to mean a lot to me. It's a movie that I've used to sort of shorthand for my digital name. You know, almost all my online IDs are Fight Club with my last name. Even though some people still look at it like, oh, Feit Club. It's like, dude, there was a movie. Did you not see the movie? Anyway, I still love the movie. I still recognize that it's taken a long time for me to recognize more and more parts of it are bad for me, but I still can't help but be enthralled by the movie as a whole. And if it comes on TV, I'm really tempted to watch it because it is really good, even though it is like 2.5 hours long. Speaking of long, this video is too long. Anyway, I still love this movie. Watch with caution. Good night, everybody. I love you.